I got these guys trained. They'll run down the path. Let's head out and feed the goats today. Into November now. Winter is fully set in. Currently 20 degrees, but overnight I think we were at like a high of 4. It was something ridiculous. We just came back from a short vacation to go visit my dad in Texas where it was 80 degrees. So coming home to Idaho to this weather is a little rough, but let's go head out and feed the goats and see how everyone's doing. Okay. The first, when the snow first hits, it's not too bad. Like everything's still kind of green underneath the snow. And of course we still have like some leaves on the trees and stuff. But man, winter stays so long here. Everything just turns brown eventually. And then nobody loves that. I got these guys trained. They'll run down the path. Alright, let's check your bowls. I always just check for the goat berries and everything. I don't want to feed on top of goat poo. This little one, she fits into the feeder, so sometimes she'll sleep in there. It looks like, oh, -1 goat berry. We're good. Okay, so we have been feeding a little bit of grain to prepare our does for breeding. Some years I do this, but some years I don't. I guess it really just depends. This year, with it being really cold and everything, we have decided to go for it. And then hopefully this will spread out what we have for hay. Not a guarantee, but whenever we feed grain, we do have to add it into the cost of what we're spending for feed. Kind of fell off that fence, but and if we can still do the same amount of feed cost with the grain, then it's good. But if we're doing grain plus the crazy amount of hay costs, then it's not worth it. So we really try to walk that line. I don't know, we never know. Some years are better than others. But this method works. Just spread out spots down the trough, and then I put a little bit in the bowls over here. And then that way, if someone's hogging a bowl, it's not as much as if they were sharing over here. No one's discovered that black bowl yet, but I bet Lucy will. She always does. But I'll let them lick up most of their grain, and then I'll put the hay in the trough. It would be nice if we had a different setup for feeding grain, but right now we just go with what works. And then I don't know if you guys noticed from last time, my husband put on some more of these separation bars, so I feel like it's been definitely helpful, because anyone who owns goats knows that there is a hierarchy, and the goats at the bottom of the list will get beat out by the goats at the top. And so if we can make it so that they can't fight as much, then it's more of an even share. And that's why I like to feed them in the trough, because they all kind of have their compartments. No one's discovered the black bull yet. Oh, Fiona was close. But if you guys can tell how like dense the goats look now, so being exposed to the cold weather gradually kind of triggers them to grow their undercoat, their cashmere. So now all the goats look fluffy. Ooh, Astrid, she discovered. Oh, and as soon as she discovered it, Lucy was like, wait, I can hear food. But yeah, so that thick cashmere undercoat insulates their bodies, keeps them pretty well protected. I know that if people are in areas where cold snaps aren't common and it is very sudden, that's usually when you want to worry about insulating them. But where obviously we start getting gradually colder during the fall and stuff, it definitely tells them, hey, start growing your coat. So as long as we keep them out of the wind, which is the whole reason this barn has a bunch of just stuff shoved in the corners over here. It was a little drafty, and we have a that was a nice move. We have a neighbor who's given us some more outer metal panels to put on that whole side and corner down here, because I mean this is just slats, so we just want to make sure we keep the wind off of them, and they usually stay just fine, even in like what we had last night, 4 degrees. But yeah, they're well insulated. You just got to keep them out of the wind and keep them fed. So that's the other thing that's hard, because when you're trying to conserve hay, when you're on a limited budget, it's always on that teeter point. We want to keep their feeders full without depleting what we have as far as our hay goes. So let me go ahead and throw some hay in here for these girls and get moving through these chores. The camera is on the feeder, so if the goats knock it over, it's not my fault. I try to do nice thick flakes. Everyone's always kind of curious how much to feed and everything, but I just feed what feels right, and I'll come check them in the evening sometimes, and sometimes I feel like they need a little more, and other times I feel like they're fine. So just kind of start at a point and work from there. I like to gather up all the loose stuff, especially after breaking down bales. You just have like a bed of it. The name of the game is try to reduce waste, but with goats or any livestock, really, any animal, it's hard sometimes. With a feeder like this, it's not as bad, but you can definitely tell the bad stuff they'll eat around, and it gets pushed out eventually, so it's always a battle. But if I feed them in the barn like this, any waste goes back onto the ground and is reused as bedding. So here in a couple weeks we'll get our straw, so then we'll have a nice deep bedding of straw in here for them to nestle into. And then I don't know if you guys saw from the last video, but we have the shelter right here that we pulled from, that's been all over the place. We just kind of pull it around. It was out in the pasture, and we pulled it in here to give them extra options, just to help reduce fighting for space. So if they don't want to sleep in the same area as someone else, they don't have to. All right, guys. Oh, there's some twine down here. well, we got a little Harley Quinn, Astrid, Lucy, Fiona, Freya. Oh, just kidding. Lagatha, man, and Freya. So Lagatha and Freya, these two were twins. The only way you can tell them apart is Freya's a slightly bigger and Lagatha's a little smaller. Which is because Lagatha she's the only one that has a kid still. She's weaned, but because she was feeding a kid longer than anyone else, it took her a little while to recover. She's good now. You can tell how nice and thick her sides are. And then Freya, she actually is a little taller now, which is really weird to me, but hey, I'll take it. Also, she has straight ears and she has curled ears. Other than that, they're pretty identical. But yeah, I love seeing the fat, happy, fluffy goats heading into winter, and we should be getting our buck to breed since we were out of town the last week and a half. Our breeding season kind of just got pushed back, but that's okay. We'll still have kids on the ground. It'll just be a little later than previous years, which I won't complain about. And then our little goat structures, try to give them areas to sleep up high if they want to, but they can always go into the shelters for windbreak. But it's a nice still day out here. I still have plenty of pumpkins, just donations from neighbors and stuff to feed the goats, and so I'll cut them up every couple days. You can actually see, this is actually really funny, this pumpkin, because Freya and Lagatha are good at getting their head in and out of the fence. They've already started eating that one, so, but check water. Looks like this one needs topped off, but I cleaned this out right before it got cold, so hopefully it'll stay nice and clear for us. It gets a little foamy like that just with the tank heater in there. And yeah, I think we'll just cut this one off here. We'll see you guys all next time.